Hi everyone, my name is Andrew. I was one of the previous F2s working in pediatric medicine in Antrim Area Hospital last winter. I'm just going to quickly go through a series of videos on postnatal ward in C2 in Antrim Area Hospital. This first video was just about the schedule of C2. So I'm just going to remove my webcam and we're going to move into the actual presentation then. Okay. So in C2 then, usually it starts around 9 a.m. I recommend coming in about 10 minutes early just to get round the NICU. Whenever you get round the NICU, and that is again on C floor, you'll be picking up the C2 bleep or the postnatal bleep, and also getting a handover from the A&P evening staff or night staff. And they will basically give you a handover of what's been happening over the last couple of days in postnatal and what jobs have come up overnight as well. Usually we'll go over this a bit more in some of the next videos, but basically some of the jobs you would usually be picking up would be like baby checks, doing bloods, referrals, antibiotic administrations, etc. But basically you'll go to neonatal ward initially and pick up the bleep and the handover from the A&P staff. Then you'll head over to C2 and there will be a midwife job list, which can sometimes be duplicated jobs just from the A&P handover, but sometimes there's just extra wee jobs that are picked up from that as well. Again, this can be seen on Encompass as well, but I would usually go by the paper-based job list just because that's what the midwives are used to using so far these days. But some of the jobs might appear over on Encompass as well. And if there's any issues, obviously you can just ask the midwives just for an extra bit of help if you're worried or don't understand one of the jobs. Then once you've done that, you'll basically start your day and work through some of the jobs, maybe going through some of the more urgent jobs or jobs that you expect might require some advice from senior staff members at some point later on in the day. Once that's going on, usually the NICU staff members are completing their ward round. And once they've completed that, usually around 11 a.m., they'll come round to check in on you and offer usually for you to go around and get coffee in the morning. Usually this would be a good time to bring up sort of non-urgent jobs or any sort of non-urgent concerns that you've picked up just from the morning. It's a good time to sort of ask sort of questions that you've raised there. Obviously, if there's any emergencies during this stage or you're really concerned about something, your first point of call would be the NICU registrar. That will be either through bleeps or just heading around the NICU itself, or once you get sort of sorted in Antrim Area Hospital PEDS team, you might have a WhatsApp number for them. But yes, that would be your first contact point. If not that, that would be then the consultant. But obviously that would be for more urgent sort of queries or emergencies. C2 is a great job. You'll have lots of diverse days where you'll see a range of different things with babies for the baby checks. A lot of them non-urgent, but usually does require a wee bit of extra advice, just because it might not appear obvious as to what you might have to do for that for further referrals. But most of your days will be spent doing baby checks, bloods, ongoing referrals for like hips, BCGs, or whatever it does come up throughout the day, especially like murmurs and things like that. Also, you'll be given antibiotic administration, so as medical staff members, we are expected to give the babies antibiotics, so you'll be making up the likes of Ben-Pen and gentamicin for the babies. All of that will be detailed in the wall in the pediatric room in postnatal, and I'll explain how to actually administer and how to make up those antibiotics. Also, you'll be expected to review babies that are on the sepsis pathway each day, but most of your jobs will more or less be baby checks for the most part. Sometimes you can get a wee bit finished earlier around, like, depending on how heavy the job list is, but sometimes you can get finished around maybe like 3 p.m, in which case I would recommend heading around to the NICU ward and try help out with some jobs that might pop up from that, or try and see some interesting things. Whenever I was there, I was able to see some cranial ultrasound scans, which was great, and actually got to help perform that. Other things that are great to go see is attending deliveries with E&P staff members, which is great just for pediatric experiences and also getting the hands-on experience. So that would be a recommendation from myself. It would be to attend deliveries if you can, and attend a NICU if you do get finished up a wee bit earlier. But for most days, it's a 5 p.m. finish, in which case you'll be expected to go back to NICU to drop off the bleep and update the handover. So it'll be a Word document that the A&P staff members will show you how to access, in which case you update the handover, and then you hand over to the night AMP staff members, just so in case there's any further antibiotics that need to be given or urgent reviews that need to be done overnight. But that is more or less the schedule for C2, so I hope that gives you a sort of brief introduction to C2. As can be expected, there's lots of things that do come up, and this will not be a play-by-play of everything that does come up, but just give you sort of a brief introduction to things. So I hope this is helpful. Thank you.